am Sistah Scifi, and I just wanted to take a second to introduce you to Sistah Scifi, your new favorite book boutique. We focus on science fiction written by Black women. In addition to selling books, we also host a lot of online and in-person events, book clubs, watch parties, you name it. It's a Black queer-owned company. It's owned by myself, so it makes us super proud to highlight writers who look like us, who have the same passions, missions, and goals. We're excited to have you be a part of the community.
Fabulize is a geek and pop culture website covering content, pop culture, and geekdom and fandom from a Black feminist perspective. So, you know, we dissect everything, we overthink everything, and we're totally cool about it and we embrace it. We have been championing and supporting Black superheroes, specifically Black superheroes that are created by Black women and marginalized people in our community. This is it. So just quick background, you know, this book was announced last summer, I believe. And as soon as I saw the announcement, I was totally excited about it because we really haven't, you know, Nubia is one of the first Black women superheroes of like all comics in general. When it was announced that McKinney and Robyn Smith was going to be creating a graphic novel, I was really excited because they were going to transform Nubia and tell us a story about Nubia's childhood. So what did you all think about the mood of the graphic novel, like the colors?
I think that the vibe was awesome. I'm admittedly an adult, but it took me back to being that age. Like, it definitely brought out the 16, 17, 18-year-old me and dropped me in that friend group. Even though I am not that age now, I could definitely relate. And if they could have been my friends, they would have been my friends. And the color scheme, the dialect, the inner dialogue, all of that just brought it all together.
Thank you.
It was definitely giving me like, you know, late 90s Moesha vibes. Like, this is your crew right here. Like,
I was really impressed with her, and I just loved this so much. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The storytelling part of it, the writing was superb. I knew I was going to love the graphics. It's just like the color scheme, but the story was just, it was written so well, and truly enjoyed it. And just watching a young woman come into her own. She's not a child yet, and yet she's still not a woman, but making that transition is hard, and watching her do that, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I really love, you know, to read Black girl coming of age stories. Like, I feel like we need more of them, you know, because I feel like, um, at least in media wise, we're always, um, you know, they're always making us into adults while we're still kids. So to see like, you know, just teenagers, I think it really reinforces, at least within, you know, Black girlhood, the importance that their struggles and their growing pains are important, and they are seen and validated. So listen, you know, outside of just Nubia, but I am a big fan of Black girl coming of age stories, and I want all the Black girls to read them so they can really see themselves in these coming of age stories that they can relate to. I think Nubia is pretty mature for her age. I mean, she acts like a teen, but I think she's pretty mature. What do you all think?
Hey, it's Keisha here. Um, we want to say she's mature, but in reality, I think most Black teenagers would act the way she does. You know, um, they're we've experienced a lot more. We're exposed to a lot more at such a young age. You know, out of protection. You know, okay, you can't act this way because systemically this is what's going to happen, or this is how it's set up. So I think that she she's kind of acting the way an average Black kid in America would act.
I think maybe she got like the triple down. So you got the Black in America talk, you have the Black woman in America talk, and then they piled the whole "you're a superhero" Black woman in America talk. And I don't know if it's sheltered necessarily, but it's just so overly cautious because you have to be aware of not just the Black and the woman, but a superhero on top of that. And they don't always like superheroes. I mean, superheroes rescue the city, but they also destroy it in the process. And I think it's more of a, she's been drilled that caution into her head triple time that it comes off as sheltered.
Me, I love the two moms. I love Mama Amara and Mama Danielle. Show of hands, who felt like they're more a Mama Danielle, however you perceive her to be. And if you can either raise your hand or use the emoticon. I saw two or maybe two. How many people felt more like they're Mama Amara? Okay, is he answering that? Wait, Takesha, you raised your hand twice.
Okay.
Wait, that was from Mama Danielle.
We're over trying to figure out, like, okay, which one are we?
Oh my God. So
Do you want to do an introduction of Erica?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm worthy enough.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I say yes, you are.
So Elle McKinney is from the Midwest, and she is an author. She, this is her first graphic novel for DC. She's also writing Power Rangers right now. She's in a Black Panther anthology this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
without much further ado, Elle and her team are joining the room right now.
So thank you for joining us.
Happy to.
We have a whole bunch of questions. A lot of people wanted to ask you questions. I follow you on Twitter. We've talked a few times, multiple times on Clubhouse. So, how did you come about writing Nubia?
It actually it was like just a meeting of many things, right? So for my first series, the Ablaze So Black series, I visit schools and such. And while I was on a visit, I talked with these kids, these, teenagers, 9th grade through seniors. And we talk about everything. We talk about video games, we talk about comics, just stuff that I like, that they like. And we were going back and forth, and it's mostly Black and brown kids in this classroom, this setting, because it's more than one class. So we're all in the library. And one of the kids said something along the lines of, because we were talking about comics, how they don't really see any heroes dealing with anything that impacts the Black community, either caring about it, being impacted about it, even acknowledging that it's a thing, right? And you have all these allegories in comics because everybody wants to be subtle, but being subtle ain't got us nowhere. So I'm through being subtle. So one of the kids was like, you never really see that, Batman can stop a purse snatcher, and they out here, stopping natural disasters and stopping up volcanoes and stuff like that. So there's just wondering, I'm like, it's been done a few times, but nobody that these kids really like resonated with. And so that's been in the back of my mind since like 2018, right? And then I want to say late 2018, early 2019, somewhere around in there, or maybe a little beforehand, I don't really remember. It was 2018. I was on Twitter shouting about things that I like, as I do. And I said that I wanted to write Young Justice because I really liked the TV show. And a DC executive who I guess had read the book, A Blades of Black, was like, okay, let's talk. So they sent me information on the new stuff that they're trying to do with kids, with the graphic novels and the chapter books and things like that, that they're, DC Kids is trying to do. And they told me about, the first one with Mira, Tidebreaker, and then Gotham High was coming and all this other stuff is happening. And so they said, this is how our pitches work, pitch us the story. So in the back of my mind, I still hear these kids in that room. And this is as far as I know, only time I'm going to get a chance to write a for real DC or Marvel hero, right? So I'm going to do something about it. So that's when I decided I was going to sneak Nubia into this Young Justice pitch. I would love to write more Nubia. Robyn wants to draw more Nubia. We've been talking and we've been like, people have asked that question and we're like, you know what about Nubia the college years? Like they about to graduate. Her and Oscar been dating for like a year now. She maybe wants to go away to college, or maybe she wants to go train, to be Wonder Woman's protege. Maybe she's decided she wanted to do that and Oscar wants to go pursue his dream in art or whatever. So you got that, that trope of splitting up to go to different colleges and what's that's going to look like. Because again, now that I've given that book with those elements of dealing with the social issues, I want Nubia to have a chance to also just have fun and be a kid who happens to have super strength and super speed and all that kind of stuff.
How different is it creating for, a novel and a graphic novel?
So I start with, like I said, the basics with the character, the world, and so forth and so on. Those are the same. Sometimes I have to plot when it comes to playing in someone else's backyard. I have to. Normally with my own stuff, I will write a first draft without a plot, and then I pull the outline out of that first draft, because the first draft is me telling the story to myself. I need to know everything. I need to know all the ins and outs. Plus, I like to be surprised. Because if I'm surprised, hopefully, chances are someone, like my readers, will be surprised. And my readers are very often smarter than me, and they see it coming when I surprise myself when writing it. Like they see it, it's already lined up. And a lot of people think, oh, if somebody can guess what's going to happen in your story, that makes the story boring. And it's like, well, that depends. That just means you're a good storyteller in some instances, if you've laid everything down and they can see the destination. But also, like, a lot of people go to movies about books that they've read. You already know what's going to happen, but you don't know how it's going to play out on screen. So there's still an element of surprise, right? So that's kind of what I do when I'm pantsing versus plotting. And most of the plotting goes into the DC and the Marvel and so forth stuff. Because again, playing in somebody else's backyard, I can't just be out there kicking up stuff with no end in sight. With my own stuff, I can do that and take my time. And then with writing it, for a graphic novel, you write a script, not the whole prose thing, because the graphic novel, the pictures do the heavy lifting. Robyn is why so many people love Nubia. Her art is why people resonate with Nubia.
Hey, I want to ask you, what do you think is the state of Black women and superheroes right now? And where would you like to see it go?
I was going to ask creating them or in them, but I'm going to just answer both.
Okay.
I think it's great that characters like Nubia and Monica Rambeau are starting to get their shine, right? Because for so very long, it's always been, there's one per team or you can only have one show up. Like, and for a while, Storm was that chick. And then you have Vixen and Bumblebee, and now we have Joe from Far Sector. There we go. And Riri, of course. So we're getting new characters. I think we need more, always more. And I think we need more creating the comics as well, both indie and mainstream. And that's one of the reasons why I was insistent upon, in bringing this character back, you're gonna give me a Black woman artist.
So we're going to do a photo of your book review. Isis, are you here?
Do I need to hold one up?
Yep, we gonna all hold one up and we gonna take a picture. Where's
Let me see
Isis?
if I can't
Here we go.
stand up just a little bit.
All right. Sade, whenever you're ready, snap away.